I'd like to discuss this question from exercise 14.2 in your textbook. The question reads as follows, and it's question number 7. Amanda was on a work contract in Alberta for 5 years and has the following two options. One of her options is to rent, and if she rents, she pays $100 at the beginning of every month. Whoa, that's an annuity due because the payments are made at the beginning of every month for 5 years to rent an apartment. So her cost is going to be $1,000 at the beginning of every month for 5 years. The other option that she has is to purchase residence, and in this case what she will do is she will pay $150,000 to own an apartment and pay $500 towards maintenance and tax at the beginning of every month. So at the beginning of every month she's going to pay $500 per month towards maintenance and taxes. And then at the end of the 5 years, she estimates that she will receive $181,500 from the sale of the apartment. So the question says to compute the discounted cost factor of both options and to determine the most economical option if money is worth either 6% compounded monthly or 5% compounded monthly. Now I'm going to analyze this problem using the first rate of 6% compounded monthly, and I'll leave the other one to you to work out. So in doing the analysis here, what we'll need to do is to compute the present value, the net present value of all of the costs of renting. So let's take a look at that renting option. So if she's going to be renting, she's got a total of 5-year period and she's going to be making monthly payments. So that's a total of 60 monthly payments, but they are made at the beginning of every month. So the first payment of $1,000 occurs today. And the second payment occurs at the beginning of the second month. The third payment occurs at the beginning of the third. The 60th payment occurs at the beginning of the 60th month, which is at the end of the 59th month. So here we have an annuity due. You know that what you're going to do is when you work this out on your calculator, you're going to use I/Y is equal to 6%. It's compounded monthly, so that means that C/Y is equal to 12 monthly interest periods per year, and P/Y is also equal to 12, so we're going to go second quit after this and start entering in our other information. Now you know that you've got a total of N is equal to 60 payments here, and so that's great. That identifies to you that you have a total of 60 payments. What else do we need to enter? Well, we need to enter the fact that she's out of pocket or has payments of $1,000 per month. So we'll enter in the fact that PMT is equal to $1,000 per month. Now it's up to you whether you make that a negative or whether you leave it as a positive. If you make the payment into a positive, what that means is that your present value is going to become a negative. I'm going to enter it in as a positive, and I'm going to compute now. I'm ready to compute CPT, the present value. And that present value, according to your calculator, that present value will equal to a value of negative $51,984.19. And that is the present value of her costs of renting for 5 years. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to compare the present value of the costs of renting to the present value of purchasing. And now when she purchases, she is going to be making monthly payments towards maintenance, etc., of $500 per month. And that's going to be made at the beginning of every month. So we still have another annuity due of $500 per month. And again, remember that your calculator should be set to BGN mode for this calculation and the other calculation before. So we've got $500 made at the beginning of every month, so that means that we have an annuity due of 60 payments of $500 per month. Again, N is equal to 60 payments. And so without even considering the fact that she's going to be buying this property and selling it again after 5 years, what I'd like to do is to figure out the present value of her maintenance costs. And so the present value of her maintenance costs is going to be equal to, well, all you need to do is to change the PMT value, change your PMT into $500 from what it was before. It was $1,500 before for renting, or $1,000 per month for renting. Let me just double check that to make sure I did this right. Yes, $1,000 per month. I'm going to now change it to $500 per month and compute the present value of the maintenance payments. So after we've computed that, you will get, computing the maintenance payments, you'll end up with $25,992.09. And of course, this will be a negative because she's out of pocket. So make sure that you record the fact that it's a negative amount. So she's out of pocket by $25,000 on the maintenance payments. What you also need to calculate now, in addition to this, is the fact that she's going to be out of pocket by how much does she buy it for? She buys it for $165,000 today. So she's going to be out of pocket by $165,000, and she's going to turn around and sell it for, or expects to sell it for, $181,500 in the future, and that's going to be a positive. So $181,500 in the future, 5 years down the road. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear all of our registers, clear all of our values in our calculator, and determine what the difference is between the cost and the income. And of course, we have to bring that to today's date, so we need to make sure that we discount that and bring it back to today's date so that we can come up with her true net cost. Now, let's just draw a line here and come up with her capital cost, or her capital outlay. So her costs are going to be minus $165,000, whatever she's out of pocket today, $165,000, plus I'm going to add to that the income that she's going to generate 5 years down the road when she sells the property. So that's going to be $181,500 discounted at 1 plus the interest rate to the power of -60. And we know that the interest rate in this case is 6% compounded monthly. So I'm going to have $181,500, and 6% compounded monthly is 0.5% per month, so it would be 1.005 to the exponent -60. And I've run out of writing space here, but it's -60, and I add that to the minus $165,000. So we end up with a value of minus $165,000 plus 134,000, because the discounted value is going to be smaller than 181,000. It'll be 134,559 and 05 cents, which works out to be a net decrease of negative $30,440 and 95 cents. Okay, so she's out of pocket because the $165,000 outlay that she makes today is not going to make up for the is not going to be made up by the $181,000 that she sells it for 5 years down the road. Certainly not at 6% compounded monthly, because the present value of that $181,000 at 6% compounded monthly is less than what she bought it for. So she's out of pocket by $30,440. And when we add this amount in terms of her capital costs to this value here for her maintenance costs of $25,000, it ends up giving you a total of her total value or total outlay at 6% compounded monthly works out to be well, it'd be $56,433 when I add the two together. So $56,433 and 04 cents. And so the total costs of purchasing at 6% compounded monthly is $56,000 versus the total cost of renting at 6% compounded monthly is $51,000. So what is cheaper? Well, obviously the cheapest cost or the most effective cost-effective option for her is simply to rent. So we will conclude that it is cheaper to rent at 6% compounded monthly. Now, by the way, when I'm doing this calculation on the second page, you don't have to use the compound interest formulas. You could also use the built-in functions on the calculator, provided that you entered the $181,000 as the FV value and computed the present value of that $181,000 back to today's date. So the analysis at 6% compounded monthly, with that analysis we conclude that the costs are going to be lower by renting. And of course, when you're computing answering the same question using 5% compounded monthly, all you need to do is go through the same exercise, compute the present value of renting and compare it to the present value of buying or purchasing. You're going to get different present values in each case, and one may be higher or lower than the other, and you will obviously select the most cost-effective one.